Good morning, Lizette. Thank you for joining me this morning on Lunchtime Coaching. Lizette Fulfane is the coach who will sign you up, flip your day, drag you up, kick your butt, and most of all, get the best out of you. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Kevin, thank you very much for having me.
Tell us more about you.
Well, you know, it's strange to have the boards hanging around. Yes, I'm Lizette Fulfane, for those who don't know me. I'm a master life coach. I'm also a speaker. I'm an author. I've written the book, Finding Me, a self-discovery workshop for yourself. I'm also a human lie detector, one of two in South Africa, which obviously I absolutely love doing. And then also I'm making sure that every person I meet, we empower and we make sure that they get to the very best of them.
Fantastic. Lizette, so today's lunchtime coaching is really about just sharing useful advice with the audience, whoever's watching on all the social medias, and that's why I share it as many places as I can. Essentially, today we're going to talk about, let's talk about our mindset and our inward thinking during troubled times. Give us some information about that and what that is.
You know, I have an absolutely saying that says, you know, what we whisper to ourselves echoes in our lives. And, you know, when we're going to go down and every single day we're going to have this mindset of it's doom and gloom, life is about to end, we are not going to make it. You know, when we start thinking that way, before you get to 10 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be so negative, and every day is going to be a dragging day, and it's going to feel like a real dump. But the moment we change our mindset of what we are seeing, life changes, because we want to go through life with this blinkers and go, you know, this is my life. I'm not having a job. I'm in lockdown. It's frustrating. But the moment we open our view, life started to change.
So tell me, I mean, when we considering your self-talk, a lot of people go, well, what do you mean self-talk? Because, you know, it's like when you say, what's that little voice you hear? And it's like that voice that just said, what's that little voice you hear? You know, so tell us more about self-talk and how do we practically on a day-to-day basis as a quick fix, what is a practical tip that we can have to sort of start changing our self-talk?
You know, on a lighter side, you know, they always say when you start talking to yourself, you're okay. But the moment you start answering, you have to go to the loony bin. But in the
I ask myself all the time, yeah.
but in reality, what we need to do is to start saying, what am I talking to myself? Because it's so easy to rather go for the negative. Now, just to give you an idea, you know, our amygdala, which is our mind, are programmed to think 75% negative and only 25% positive, because many years ago, right before evolution, we were taught to think about how to survive. And, you know, if you're going to see the snake, if you're going to see an animal, it's all survival. We have to reprogram that, and we have to put it back and say, but hold on, I need to get 75% positive and 25% negative. So what do we do on a daily basis to keep fit? We go jogging, we do cycling, whatever we like to do to stay fit. But what do we do with our mind? We don't practice our mind. Nobody tells us when we grow up, practice your mind the way you think. We don't. And how we start self-talking is we have to start, and I do it every single day. I literally wake up first thing in the morning. I literally grab my phone because my whole life is on my phone. But before I even start thinking, I go and say, what are 3 things I can be grateful for of the previous day? And I make sure that I don't repeat one of them in my whole, which means the first week is easy because we literally go and say, I'm grateful for my partner, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for food. But by day 7, we run out of ideas. But the moment we change that and we start saying, I'm grateful because now I'm talking to you. So tomorrow I can say, I'm grateful for my interview with Kevin Britz. So I've got one. And what it's training me to do is to start going through the day, start focusing on positive things to be grateful tomorrow morning. And immediately my self-talk becomes and say, I'm seeing all the positive nuggets right in front of me. And that's where we have to start.
Yeah, I find it so interesting listening to you talk because, you know, a lot of the times it's the stuff that you mentioned, it's not like people don't know this. You know, it's not like people don't know that you actually have to be more positive and focus on the things that you want in your life. The only difference is so many people don't action that. They know about positive and creating a positive frame of mind. They know about creating a positive lifestyle, but the niggle for most people is, how do I do that on a daily basis? And I think that's, you know, where people are really struggling at the moment, is they, you know, how to get to that actioning part.
Yeah, you know, it's like anything in life. You know, if I want to go to the shop, the more, you know, we want to go to the shop. I would love to go to the shop, and I really need to go and get some food. But whilst I'm sitting in the chair and think I want to do it, it's not going to happen. It's discipline that you have to apply and start doing it. You know, and it's very easy to say when you wake up and you've got a nice and warm and fuzzy bed, you've got a bit of an income still to go, you've got a career, everybody still likes you. It's easy to do the self-talk thing. And I agree. You know, we had a very bad scenario last week. I mean, I woke up Friday morning and 7 o'clock I had a phone call, and one of our long-lasting friends passed away the previous night.
Oh, shame.
It was such a shock for us because, you know, he's our age. You know, how do you die at our age? You know, you don't want to accept it. And what happens? I immediately had 4 interviews straight after that, and also I had a lot of things that I had to do and keep focused. So what do I do? How do I get away from what am I telling myself up here? I need to take, in that very sad moment, I need to say what's positive about this.
Yeah.
And then we go, no ways. I mean, he's passed away. Can you just imagine?
Yeah.
I can. I immediately focus on all the fond memories we had together. I mean, they were our neighbors. We had a gate in between. We had so much fun together. And immediately look at those memories and you go, that's great memories. He didn't have a long suffering. And he's leaving a wonderful legacy of a loving man behind.
Yeah.
Now I can go and say, okay, park that. What do I need to focus on today? What did I take out of that? And that's where we have to do, again, discipline. Because if you can be that disciplined, your life will change. If you're currently right now in a rut and you don't know how to move forward or start working again, or even at home, or even in a bad relationship, you need to understand it's not going to be easy. It is discipline. It won't happen from just feeling miserable. You need to start talking to yourself here and say, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to get there.
I love what you say when you mention park it, because in psychology they also speak about radical acceptance. Yeah. And you know, very often we find ourselves in those moments and we don't know where to go from here. And the quickest way to go, well, how do I get to a point where I'm not debilitating my life? And the quickest way to do that is just radically accept right where you are right now. And you know, parking emotion, parking something like that is such a useful tool, because you can't do everything all the time and deal with all the emotion all the time. Yeah. You have to schedule it. You have to know what your focus is. Makes so much sense. So tell me, why human behavior? What interests you? I mean, I know I'm as fascinated by it as you are, but tell us why did you choose that as part of, you know, what you do today?
You know, I think always your past has something to do with it. You know, we're growing up, you know, you look at the people and the way they treat you, and you are so quickly to feel offended and feeling left out, or you feel you are misunderstood. And the more I felt misunderstood, the more I realized I'm going to keep on feeling misunderstood until I understand how people are working. So I started that more or less just to get myself on a more level of, I know how people are thinking. And obviously I've been in the corporate environment for over 25 years. I mean, I've been in the sales and marketing sphere. And what happens? If you don't create rapport with people and you don't understand the way they think and operate, you won't be successful.
Yeah.
So hence I wanted to start going into the human behavior. But not only that, there's so many people out there who, I like to call it, shoot themselves in the foot because they don't see their value. They don't get the confidence they need. They do not actually go and mind themselves and become the very best of them. And for me, that was so powerful. If I knew exactly how people work, I can get everyone I meet to the very best of them.
That's fantastic. I love the way, I like when you say mind yourself. You said mind yourself, right? And
Yep.
when you think of that analogy, it's such a beautiful way of putting it, because that's exactly what's required, and that's why, I do similar stuff to what you do. And what I find so fascinating is I wanted to understand why my brain was putting me in situations and why I was feeling depressed. And, there were so many series that because I went to, I went to so many doctors, and they couldn't tell me what was going on until I actually mined my own brain to be able to go there and say, oh, this is why I'm feeling this way. This is why I'm having this emotion. This is why I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Yes. It's literally mining your own brain.
Yep. Well, it's exactly, I had for over 17 years, doctors kept on diagnosing me with fibromyalgia and different viral infections, etc. And it was very, you get to a point where you can't get out of bed in the morning. You have pain the whole time. And eventually you start believing yourself you can't do anything. And it's so important that you go back one step and say, but who's this real person? I always say, in every one of us, we've got a little boy or a little girl who says, pick me. But we are programmed to say, shh, you don't have a voice. And it's our job to mind that little girl and that little boy and say, who do you want to be? Start bringing it out to the fore and start going for it with all your might.
I also think that, don't you find that often people, when we find ourselves in a position where we're having doctors tell us, well, you have this and you have this and you have that, that a lot of the time it becomes part of your identity. And because you've now identified with this illness and identified with this problem, it becomes, how do I find supporting evidence to support this information? Because now it's apparently my identity. And for me, when doctors cloned me as clinically depressed, my brain just freaked out completely. And I was going, I do not accept that is my fate, and that is why I will not accept it. And that's how I started this journey of self-discovery and minding myself and minding my brain.
It's so important, Kevin. It's exactly what you're saying. And you've got the choice. And and this is where I think both of us have got the same type of story, where we had a choice: either make that our identity, or pick me and mind me to make my own identity. And this is especially with everybody out there this morning, which are going through, being jobless maybe, or going through a bad divorce, or a suffering, or anything that go out there. You've got that choice right now to change that direction, because your mind processes and it listens to you, to every single word you say. So if I'm going to start saying, I can do this, I don't accept my depression, I don't accept that I am jobless, I'm going to find something to create a solution. Your mind is listening. And automatically you will start focusing on nuggets right in front of you, opportunities that arise that you never thought would happen ever again.
Yeah, and it's so true, because I was doing some career coaching yesterday with someone, and they kept going back to what they keep doing. And eventually I was just going, I was like, but is this working? Is it working? What you're doing, is what you're doing working? And they're like, oh no, it's not actually working. So I'm like, well, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Do something else, like find that. And I think that's, part of the lifetime coaching and just sharing useful information with people is, one of the coaches I chatted to recently also said that sometimes as human beings, we just want to complicate things. We want to make it like this drama or this big, massive, and it boils down to get out of bed, choose your day, mind what you think. It boils down to practical, simple, implementable steps. There is no magic wand that suddenly just happens and and yes, there's absolutely processes and techniques and all of those stuff, but it does boil down to quite practical little steps you can do on a daily basis. Because one of the things that one of the feedback that I've been getting is COVID's obviously not affecting your life, Kevin. And I'm going, no, actually, you'll be surprised at what steps I've drastically taken to even put myself out and put myself online because COVID has affected me so badly.
Correct. And that's exactly what, people tend to think that, and I'm not judging anybody out there, but it's the easier way to do is to say, COVID is affecting me. I don't feel like doing anything. I'm just going to wait for this to pass. I get very negative when people say to me, I'm not going to see this year as a year of my life. And I go like, but why not? You have to, because this is the year you're going to grow, and this is your jumping board. This is the springboard that's going to elevate you to the next level. So embrace it. But at the same time, it's very important that when, like you say, when I wake up this morning, I don't have to see 5 o'clock tonight. If I only have energy for 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock this morning, then only work towards 8 o'clock. Because that's a small achievement which you've achieved positively.
Yeah.
If I can get to 8 o'clock and can say, okay, well, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I at least got dressed. And if I can say by 9 o'clock, I want to have a proper breakfast, you've achieved. And before you know, it's these little achievements during the day that one full day becomes a positive day. Before you know it, you've got a positive week. And before you know it, you don't have to look hourly or weekly, but you just start seeing the rhythm is there. It's 21 days for a habit, 90 days for a lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's a perfect opportunity to literally start cultivating a new culture for your life. And the quicker you get into that frame of like step by step, hour by hour, moment by moment, you're suddenly creating a whole new universe of your own. And that's really why it's so important to understand that I have choice. I have the power to make the choice in this moment. Tell us from a how to stay focused and how to not take anything personal. I don't understand that nothing in life is personal, because I like a lot of the time, I'm guilty of it. You get into a situation, you try your best, you make things happen, and it doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
What is the advice on how to not take things personal?
I'm absolutely, people who've been to my workshops and whatever I do, my sales training, etc., they know the first thing I start with, I said, I don't take anything personal. If you don't like my workshop, if you don't like my interview, I'm sorry, I'm having a ball. That's the first thing I actually tell them. But yes, on a serious note, nothing in life, Kevin, is personal, because we need to understand my reaction. You don't have any control over my reaction. I sometimes don't even have control of my own reaction, never mind yours.
Yes.
And the moment you start understanding that you cannot control anybody in this world. Secondly, I do not know in what mood you are, what you're going through, what is your setbacks in life, what is holding you back. So whatever you're going to judge me from is going to be from your perspective, from your upbringing, from your programming. So how can I anyhow take that personal? So let me use an example. So I am on a diet right now, which I'm not, but say for instance, I'm on a diet and I come to visit you and you've just made the most fabulous Black Forest chocolate cake. The berries are on there, the flakes are there, your mouth is watering. And I love it. I walk in and I say, thank you very much, but I will just have a glass of water. What's the first thing we tend to do? Oh, she's so famous now, she's not interested in my cake anymore. Oh, my house is most probably dirty, that's why she doesn't want to use my stuff. And before we know it, we feel negative towards the person. And then we know perception is projection. So I become hostile towards you.
Yeah.
Is it personal? Hell no, I'm on a diet. I'm trying my best not to eat anything that I shouldn't. It's got nothing to do with you. You know, when I even say to you, I can go and I say, you know what, I don't think you're wearing the best suit ever. And I go to you and say, Kevin, that suit doesn't suit you at all. Is that personal?
No, it's just an opinion. No, yeah.
It's opinion. You have control over my opinion? Do you have a control over my reaction? No. So the moment I start exploring rather how your reaction would be, instead of expecting it, we realize nothing is personal. You know, we want to get angry because, or disappointed because I've expected that you're going to like me and we're going to have a good business partnership. And now it's not happening. Now I'm angry at you, but I've expected it. So for who am I really angry? I'm angry at myself. And the moment we start seeing that, life changes. It's not personal. It's just, you're not ready right now for me. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's almost like we have unexplained or unconsidered expectation of someone. And you go, well, I place an expectation on you. Why are you not abiding by my expectation? And It's like, well, none of that was even discussed, you know. So, so I mean, I think that's really, really key. So how do we get the very best out of you as an individual? So how do I get the best out of me and anyone listening today?
I think anybody who's listening, I mean, I've created a self-discovery workshop and I wrote the book Finding Me around that too. You know, the first thing is I always say it's honesty. If you want to walk this path with me, you need to make sure that you're going to be very honest with yourself. So I literally take people and I say, let's start with who you are. And people go, oh, that's easy. I'm dynamic. I'm energetic. I love people. And then it stops because we are never taught to talk about ourselves. We are putting ourselves out there and saying, that's where we are. That's what people like to hear. Instead of who am I really? And the moment we start exploring who you are in real depth, in depth, and we start seeing who you are, you can start embracing that with confidence. Now suddenly I can start delivering the best of me because I like the fact, now I always joke about it. You know, I love, as a little girl growing up, I used to knit with my mom and crochet with my mom. But going into the corporate world, I had this picture of a corporate woman having the suits. You don't have a lot of emotions. And of course, you do not do anything domestic. So I wouldn't tell them I bake. I wouldn't tell them I crochet. I wouldn't tell them I knit. And you know, you have always that thing of fear of something's going to come out about people judging you. And the moment you embrace that, I mean, people start changing towards you and you change the way you deliver the confidence. So we have to start taking yourself and be very transparent and love the person who you really are, not who people want you to be. And then you have to start changing and put your core values together. And if I say core values, there's over 500 core values. You need to pin them down to 20 and you need to know exactly which core values work for you. I mean, we tend to say trust, you know, honesty, integrity, confidence. But what about maybe family versus friends? What about adventure or solitude? And those are the things which, and the moment you are really getting together with both of those two and you marry them, you honestly get to the person who you really are. And then you can present it as the very best of you.
No, I love that. And it's so true because I think, you know, a lot of people who list those usual attributes and values that they carry, when you ask them to define that and what it behaves like, they also can't tell you. You know, so it's really, I find that, and I also find that we often put our information outside us and we compare ourselves to that guy and that person and that moment. I mean, for me to be online and doing videos is one of the things that I've needed to sort of understand about my life, is looking at, well, what is the information that I'm wanting to share and share with people out there. And then I kept going back to going, oh, but I don't know if it's as nice as that video, that guy's video, or
it doesn't matter.
Eventually, like, you're going, no, hang on, this is not about them. This is about me, right? So, and when you get back to how to do that for you, suddenly everything changes, and it starts changing in a way that's really benefiting your life.
Well, that's exactly that. You know, I've done a video called Overthinking is a Killer. And in that video, I discuss it, because we overthink everything we do, but most of all, we compare. And comparison is not your best friend.
No, it's a complete debilitator. It debilitates you in so many ways. Absolutely. Lizette, so tell us, lastly, just to close off today, thank you for today, and thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
You've got some workshops that you're running soon. Tell us more about those.
So I have the self-discovery workshop. Normally it's a full day session from 8 to 5. It normally goes for 4,500 Rand. But literally what I've done, because of COVID, I've converted it, and I've done it in 6 one-hour sessions, which will be available from middle of June, which you can enroll for, which is normally 4,500. I'm actually putting it out there for 750 Rand for the whole course online. So you can do it on your own time, do what you need to, and then afterwards we do a one-on-one session just to recap everything. And then also what I have is, I had my lie detection workshop yesterday, Truth About Lies, and I'm doing a full one-day session about understanding truths and also creating the lies and picking up on those lies and how to communicate better.
Fantastic. So, and where can people, what is your website? It's www.
LizetteFalkwain.com.
There we go.
And I'm also on at Falkwain on my Instagram, YouTube, etc. on those channels. And then obviously Facebook is also Lizette Falkwain, or Your Awesome Life Guide.
Fantastic. Lizette, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing everything, and thank you for sharing some lunchtime coaching with us today. It's always a pleasure chatting to you. I resonate completely with a lot of everything you say. Thank you for that, and I'll chat to you soon.
Kevin, thank you very much. Keep on with this initiative. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Cheers.